Okay, it's test drive time, guys. We're up here at the Flybridge, so we have the lower helm and we've also got the aft wing station for parking the boat. Quite a stylish helm area here, but very functional too. So the angle of the plotters is easy to see from a standing and sitting position. I've got cameras aft, it's a multifunctional display, rudder angle indicator, got my Humphrey interceptors just here, MTUs, as I said, we've got 1600s on this one, engine controls, autopilot, boat systems, chain counter, thrusters. So you can actually park this boat from up here if you so chose. I've got some good styling details of drink holders on either side. The steering wheel is fixed and the throttle is set back slightly aft, which I always like. So everyone's secure. We're just going to engage gears and let's get moving. So I've got my GPS just there. I don't know if I have fuel flow on this. Yes, I do. Okay, currently 10 litres an hour per side, and our GPS speed is just coming up to 5 knots in idle forward. So I'm just going to get the boat moving because I think that's what you want to see, but let's just see what she does in idle forward. So these must be big torquey props because we are climbing through a GPS speed of approaching 6 knots right now. There you go, 6 knots. 6 knots in idle forward. Don't you love that? I love these big torquey diesels. That's awesome. Okay, let's just get her moving. I'm not going to go wide open throttles. I'm just going to take the boat through a sensible speed range. I'm not in familiar waters. I know with these motors we should achieve a speed of about 30 knots, but let's just see what we can do at a regular cruising speed. So I'm now doing 11 knots. I've got 60 litres an hour per side, approximately 60 litres, and that's giving me 11.5 knots. Very comfortable. Boat maintains a level attitude. I don't think the Seakeeper is on at the moment, just letting you know. So we just got regular stability. I'm actually going to maintain this course for a little bit, then we'll do a turn and we'll go around heading in the other direction and we'll get the boat up and moving. I like having rudder angle indicators. That's always a useful feature. We'll get on to about 15 knots. She makes some wash. Just expect that. She's a big boat. We are making wash. Scotty's the professional wakeboarder. You tell us when it's rideable. Okay, 13.8 knots, consuming, that's at 1470 revs, and we're consuming 100 litres a side. Let's bring it up to 15 knots. Feels like, I do love these throttle bases as well, I gotta say. They're so ergonomic. Okay, 15 knots at 1650 revs. We're actually, sorry, I'm already hit 16. Let me slow that down. I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, 1550 revs gives you about 15 knots, and that's giving me 125 a side, 15 knots. And I'm actually going to do a turn at 15 knots before I increase speed. Because I mean, on these bigger boats, this sort of speed, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. You really can be conversing with mates, enjoying the wind in your hair, and that's what it's all about. And you're still getting places. Fuel capacity, I think I read it was about 4,200 litres. I'll put it in the description below in case I'm wrong on that, because I only got the specs on this boat last night, so I'm just memorising that. And she's a V-drive shaft, so propellers are in a tunnel, and that's how we get all that accommodation downstairs and the crew quarters, which we'll see later in this video. So time to increase speed a little bit. Heel angles are just what you'd expect of a boat of this size. Not getting, well, it's very flat conditions here, but we're not rocking around whatsoever. 17 knots, 1750 revs, 18 knots and climbing. Just gonna straighten her out there. 19 knots, consumption's 165. Let's get to 22. Okay, she's starting to feel like she's really boogieing at this speed. I feel a slight vibration through the hull there, so I think she just wants to go a bit faster. You can really feel those engines working there. There's 23. Excuse me, coughing. I'm still getting over a cold from all this flying I've been doing. 24 and a half. 2,050 revs and climbing, 24.5. Consumption sitting at 225. And the vibration's settling down. I think that's just a harmonics of the boat, actually. That's nothing to be worried about. And 24, there we go, settled down. Now she's in the groove, 25 knots. 25 knots, 2,150 revs. The boat feels like she's boogieing. We're actually hitting 26 now, 256 litres an hour, a steady 26 knots. This feels like a good fast cruise. You know, the engine's still got plenty more in the rev range, so it's a sensible rev. You are moving, we are making waves. Oh, it feels powerful. Just stick the camera over the side. Look at the wash going out the side. It's quite impressive. Just look at that. Look at the blue water too. I tell you what, guys, if you haven't had a boat in the Mediterranean, you need to. This is an amazing place to go boating, and Mallorca specifically. It's my first time here, but it just feels like a special place. So let's slow down and we'll go through another turn. I'm just going to do a wide turn. I'm not into tight turns on big boats. I don't see the point. Okay, and just point the camera back and see the heel angle for everyone at that turn there, Scotty. So that's quite acceptable. A little bit of bow raise at these speeds, but it's kind of not that noticeable for the guests. The skipper's going to notice, I guess. Plenty of wind over the decks up here, so if you're in a colder climate, I would be heading down to the lower helm, but I guess that's why you've got it. You are exposed here, and I imagine if you had this enclosed in clears, because of the straight line here, you really would be pushing a lot of air, so you're going to have some drag. You might lose some of that top end speed, or just increase the fuel burn, either or. And just watching my wash dissipate there as we come off the plane, just coming through 15 knots and slowing down. It's all quite predictable. Just let our wash catch up on ourselves. Epic waves. Those are epic waves, aren't they, Scotty? Okay, so that's great, guys. It's big boat stuff. So this just feels like what's coming out of some of the big brand British boats that I've driven so far. Some similarities. Maybe, you know, I got to say the Princess V series feels a little bit more refined at the helm. I tell you what, this is getting damn close, and it's not a V series, so it's not really a fair comparison. So if you were looking at some of the other British manufacturers, well, here is another one. They're not built in Britain, but it's British designed, and it's a British company. And I'm impressed with this. I think this really would suit a lot of our East Coast Aussies wanting for something to do the Sydney dayboat scene and take up to the Whitsundays, and also using charter. I just think with that crew quarters, with the way it's been laid out, with the separate entrance down to the crew quarters there, and the design, fit and finish of this thing, it does lend itself quite well to charter. Let me know what you think, guys. I think it's time to check out the engine room and the crew quarters, and hopefully get into the tender garage as well. Okay, we've got an opportunity to have a look down at the tender garage. So come on down, and first things first, we have some surprises. Those switches there that I couldn't work out before are actually these beautiful drop-down terraces, which kind of hide away because they're streamlined with the side of the boat when they are stowed. So just imagine this, coming here, beautiful crystal blue waters, setting up a picnic chair and doing a bit of this. That's what it is all about. I love it. Stainless cleats here, got the passerelle coming out of here, and what's going on underneath here? Okay, shore power. Yep, that makes sense. That goes the other way. So, tender garage. This is epic. Remember, this is a 72-foot boat. So we've got a Williams jet tender, we've got a Sea-Doo jet ski, we've got life raft deployment, you got your winch controls just there, everything you need. You've got some lights, huge big hydraulic rams holding up this massive door here, and it's got a bit of beach club vibes as well. You know, you can kind of get that feeling because of the drop-down wings, which you also have on this side. So it's both sides. We have a shower, hot and cold pull-out shower just there. Very cool. I do like these Pearl kid and doggy doors too. They're quite fancy. Quick, come with us and let's have a look in the engine bay whilst the engines are off. Just check that out. That is a That's quite cool. I like that. So, engine access is through here, down this ladder here, but there is another way to get in here. But once you go down here, you stand on the checker plate on the center line, you've got both motors facing forward because it's a V-drive. So the engines are facing the other way around, V-drive is sending it through, and the shafts are in a bit of a tunnel. Then you go down the center line and you've got your Seakeeper stabilizer mid-mounted. From there, on the port side, you've got all the batteries, and then on the starboard side, looks like you've got all your chillers and some of your hydraulics. Coming forward of that, so there's some of the exhaust mufflers, I think that's what you call them, dampeners. Okay, thank you, Scotty. And then forward of them, on both sides, we've got 2 gen sets on this boat. Then coming back to the center line, you have a fire door into the crew quarters. We're not going to go through that door, we're going to go this way and go through this crew door. So once again, some of my points about good for charter, this is why I think that way. So coming down some steep stairs, they've got grippiness, and the offset stairs, there's about 9 of them. We get down into this crew quarters and it's pretty cool. You've got 2 bunks. This one's got a few covers and spares just stowed here for now. Drawers, 2 bunks, ladder to get in here. We've got some storage hanging locker. I don't know how to get into it. I'm not sure how to do that, but I assume there's a hanging locker in there. And then we have a flat screen TV here. This is just on a magnet held open at the moment. We're on carpet. Got some more storage. Okay, so washer dryer. They've got their own washer dryer. Well, that's handy. And a Verifrigo fridge in there, microwave, and then there's going to be a little bit of storage in here. I just don't know how to open it. There you go. So, and more above the microwave. Handy. Epic. Is there a sink? Can't see a sink. Nah, okay. But there is a sink in here because check out the loo and the proper stand-up separate shower. Not bad, 72-footer boat. And there's something underneath the stairs as well. Don't know how to open it, so I'm not going to do that right now. And you've got a couple of courtesy lights. And this was the other door that I was talking about. Okay, if I can. Okay, I don't know which way is open in this one. Here we go, here we go. That's what I meant. But one negative, it is worth pointing out, the headroom's pretty poor in here down the centre line because you have that epic tender garage. So what do? On the outboard side of the motors, you do have more headroom, but you've got to squeeze around there. So be it. It's still possible. Very impressive. Okay, I always struggle with these doors. Which way's which? So guys, I think that's probably where we wrap this video. Let's head up to the bow. What do you reckon, Scotty?
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm impressed with this boat. For a brand that I've basically knew nothing about, knowing that they've already sold a 62 and it's on its way to Sydney, I can see why. If you are someone who's looking at your Princess, Fairline, Sunseeker type brands, this definitely competes with them. And I think their strategy, I don't know, but from what I'm observing as I look around the place, is they're building a high quality build, or an equal quality and maybe higher quality in some areas. And they're just giving it to you at a much better price. And they can deliver as well. So there are availability on some of these models when compared to some of the European builds. So yeah, I just think this is something you need to pay attention to. You know, if you've got a charter business in mind, and if you just want to consider a new brand like this for your own Sydney Harbour and cruising north in the wintertime uses, I think you can't go past this brand now. You got to pay attention to them because they're doing good things. There's more models in the range. So they've got 62, we're on the 72. They've got, I believe they've got an 80 coming, and there's a 95, which I've also seen. So they're selling boats, they're doing things, and judging by the activity I saw at the stand, they're being well received. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of this brand in the description below. I really do enjoy the feedback, and it gives me a feel for what you want to see on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like if you like this content. I do appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, that's it. Thanks very much. Dan Jones is my name. I'll see you on the next one.